Now, in a strongly worded statement today, the TUC insisted that the recent CD exchange rate gains should have been factored into the pricing formula to reflect a reduction instead of an increase. So, are there 18 national unions under the TUC of the same view? What is government and PURC's response to this? We're trying to get onto the telephone line Kofi Asamoah, who is the TUC General Secretary, to speak to us about this. And we're told that Solomon Kote, who is the General Secretary of ICU, will be joining us on the telephone line very soon. You're watching today's big story, and if you haven't heard, the TUC is warning the PURC and government to reverse the recent utility price hikes or face its wrath. Now, over 18 national unions are being championed by the TUC. The question tonight is, are they all in agreement? And is the TUC not being hypocritical when it has been on the PURC board all through the deliberations which arrived at these increases? This is today's big story, and we're working the telephone lines now to get Solomon Kote on the telephone lines. Right, I'm sure that the rains are distorting our efforts to get these people on the telephone. We're still working the telephone lines because of heavy rains in parts of Accra. This is today's big story. We'll be right back. This is today's big story. Let's get onto the telephone lines now. We have Kwame Jantua, who is a lawyer and also an energy expert. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to fellow Ghanaians.
Now, I mean, we just heard the news that the TUC is actually threatening to unleash its wrath if government and the PURC does not reverse the recent tariff increases. Is this a legitimate demand?
Can I ask the question? The TUC, aren't they on the board of PURC? Don't they have two members on the board of PURC? When PURC were agreeing to the tariff, were their members not on the board? Were they not there? And you see, this is a different situation than the previous one. This is an actual generation problem. It is not a distribution problem. And so far as I can see, the TUC should be talking about increasing the wages of people, their members. That is where the key is. How do we increase their wages so that they can meet some of these things that are coming up? Look, I continuously say that if we want Akosombo, if we want Chico, if we want Asogli to grind to a halt, then let's not just do what we have to do to keep these things going. Because yes, I do agree, it is difficult. It's difficult, it's not easy. But I think the TUC have a duty to make sure that employers are paid the right wages. That is where they should talk about. And apart from that, I don't think it's PURC they should be attacking. They should be attacking the ECG and the generating companies. Look at, they were against the fact that PURC didn't increase water. Have they done what they're supposed to do? And really and truly, if it was a distribution problem, I'll be the first person to say PURC shouldn't raise the tariff. But it is not a distribution problem. It's a tariff problem. TUC should be attacking the maintenance culture that these institutions have. These are the things they should be attacking. So we should all sleep in darkness because we cannot have the fuel and the resource that would help us generate electricity. We should ask ourselves those questions and see whether the TUC is saying the right thing and doing the right thing.
Right, Mr. Johnson, I'll have you hold briefly, and we're also joined on the other line by Wilson Agana, who is chairman of the Tema District Council of Labour. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, Mr. Agana, do you share the same view as TUC, kind of asking PURC and government to reverse these price increases?
Oh, yes, 100%.
100%. So, what are your bases?
This current increase, there is no justification. Why they increase now? Look at things that we are passing through. Recently, there was a problem at Nigeria, so we are not getting gas. So there is no increase in gas supply. They are saying that the Akosomo Dam is down. So they are not to pay any money for them to go and pump some water inside. Crude oil, the price is down. It's now that we are coming out with the problem with the foreign currency, the dollar and the cedi. Then at this time you are increasing. What's the increase for? If the crude oil is increased or the gas is increased and you are increasing, you understand. But these things are all down. We are not even, it's now that we started using the gas. So what is the justification?
Now, Ms. Agana, let me ask you, I mean, as a member of the TUC, were you not part of the board of PURC during deliberations? Why wait? And then after the announcement, you come out to ask for a reversal?
Oh, Master, we've been talking about this committee, PRC every time. The last time when the problem arose, we told you we withdraw our members. And apart from that, we tell you, if you get to a committee meeting and somebody disagree with you, any decision you take at a committee, that person has to come back to inform the members for them to take a decision. Without any member coming to educate anybody, nobody coming to tell us anything. Meanwhile, we have a problem using our members serving on that committee. We will not replace anybody yet. And even if somebody is there, the person has to come and say, this is what is going on. If there's any suggestion, we won't put across. No education, no nothing. Just get up. Once we are coming out from this dollar problem and all this, then you increase this thing. I mean, this time, I think it's not proper.
Right.
It's not proper.
Right. Ms. Agana, we'll still have you hold. We're working the telephone lines to get PURC directly online, but we still have lawyer and energy expert Kwame Jantua on the line. So, Mr. Jantua, you heard Agana justifying that one, they do not have a representative on the board because they withdrew that member. So they've had issues back and forth with replacing those members on the board. And he's justifying also the reason they're asking for the tariffs to be reversed. Do these justifications make sense?
Does he really understand what the problem is? Does he really understand what the problem is? The problem is that we are having to put money forward to buy LCO, light crude oil, to fire the generation of electricity. VRA is spending nearly $3 million a day. How can we go on like that? That is the crux of the matter. That is the crux of the matter. If Akosombo is not getting enough water to do the generation, and we are having to pay light crude oil to fire generation for electricity, where are we getting the money from? That is the crux of the matter.
So, I mean, what you're saying is that the increases, the hikes, are justifiable enough.
How much does it cost? You see, this is where I believe the bare figures and the bare facts should be put on the table for everybody to see. VRA should bring out the bare figures. This is how much we're spending a day. This is a calculation. If we are to get water in Akosombo, this is what it would be. If we are to get gas coming from the West African gas pipeline, this is what it would be. So that everybody is aware of the kinds of money we're talking about. At the present moment, we are all talking in isolation because we really don't know how much is spent. There are told $3 million to spend. But if that is the case, who should fund it? Do we all want to sleep in darkness? Because I bet your bottom city. If we sleep in darkness,
why you increase the tariff and we started talking, then you start to raise a lot of
right. Mr. Ghana, kindly hold. So Mr. Jantua will make his point. I'll surely give you a chance to react. So Mr. Jantua, carry on.
Do we need to sleep in total and absolute darkness? Who is Iko for? Who is Akosombo for? Who is the government of this country? It's the people. It is the people. We should begin to realize that. It is the people. And if government isn't doing what they're supposed to do, it is the people who have to hold government responsible. But in the meantime, we cannot sleep in darkness.
And so we cannot sleep in darkness. So we must pay. Technically, we must pay.
I believe that the TUC's duty is to make sure that employers are paid the right amount of wages and salaries.
So we can pay our utilities.
Exactly, because it is difficult.
Right, so Mr. Jantua, let me hold and give Wilson Agana a chance to react. Mr. Agana, your reaction.
I'm surprised the way he's talking. When the water was full, Akosombo is full. When we are receiving full gas, everything, are we having the service that we needed?
Have we ever received full gas from West African gas pipelines?
So, Mr. Ghana, so what you're saying?
All this is the system.
Mr. Ghana, I'm asking a question. So you feel that, I mean, when the conditions for generation was good, prices were not increased, and then when it got bad, prices were increased.
No,
so you feel that it's not justified.
Good, I'm talking of good service now. Service. This do-so is there long time before even Nigeria went on strike. It is there long time before this accessible dime problem has arrived. And what's happening? And now that the crude oil price is down, and what are you telling me? The service, you are paying money, and we are not getting the good service, and we keep on increasing. Every time there is a increment, they give problems. They give a lot of excuses. Oh, because of the crude oil. Oh, because our generating plant is down. This abuaji is down. Oh, well, that's what they do. You see? Anytime they increase and want to add them, then they started giving this lot of excuses. So my friend, there is no justification in this thing.
Mr. Jantua.
Telling the employer, let me tell you, he said that we should get your employers to pay us more money so that we can make this. When the employer, because of electricity, cannot earn me, the employers, they even want to sack workers because of the do-so. The factories are not operating, and you go and tell them that they should increase our wages, so that we can use and pay electricity. So what is he talking about?
So, Mr. Jantua, you heard Wilson, you heard Wilson at Ghana.
The responsibility is to make sure that these institutions, ECG, GridCo, all those institutions should make sure that the maintenance culture is ace. Because you see, the problem we have is that when we don't get resource for generation, and then resource for generation now is flowing, then we have a maintenance problem. Then we have to shut down some of the generating plants to do maintenance. I think TUC should be fighting more than they are fighting now. TUC should be fighting for the reserve margin, because we don't have a reserve margin at this present moment, because it affects their members. All the periphery things that affect the members, for them to now use the little scarce resource they have to pay electricity, they should be talking about it. They shouldn't wait for the tariffs to go out before they start talking. Let us continuously hear them so that we can put pressure on them. Let them be the mouthpiece of the people so that they can talk on behalf of the people. And they should monitor these agencies so that when things are not going right in terms of maintenance, in terms of capacity, we can move for the people.
Right.
I'm surprised that you are saying that we should control electricity, GridCo, and what they are talking about.
I didn't say you should control. That is not what I'm saying. You should monitor.
Is it the duty of TUC?
Do not tell me
to see to it that their services are.
Do not tell me that it's not the duty. You have a duty to your employers. You have your duty to your members.
Right, gentlemen. Let's streamline. Let's streamline our discussion. I know this is a very heated debate because it affects everybody. Utility prices. I mean, I am paying through my teeth, and I'm not happy about it. Sometimes, I mean, when I buy the 150, which is supposed to last me for the month, it doesn't. Meanwhile, I have very few gadgets in my home which should not be consuming a lot that way. So this is a key issue we're addressing. So, Mr. Agana, you disagree with Mr. Jantua saying that one of the responsibilities of organized labor is to put pressure that workers get paid well so we can all be within our comfort zone when we're paying for utilities, and then in so doing the utility services are also getting the money they need to improve our services. You don't think it's so?
Yeah, it's not correct. And even he said that we should make sure that GridCo and others also do cultural service. They should do maintenance and all that. Why is it the duty of TUC? You are who has that power to just to increase. What about you? Are you not the one who's supposed to advise GridCo and other?
Right. I must say, Mr. Ghana.
My brother, the most important thing is also that because you have that power, you could not even educate the public. You could not give us some reason, because of you want to. You just get up an increase. After increasing, when they call you on radio, then you want to come and make this noise.
Right, Mr. Jantua. Yeah, Mr. Jantua.
Don't mix me with my sister. My sister at PURC. That is not me.
That's right. I must say that we have been trying to reach Nanaya Jantua to respond for PURC, but we're not getting her. She's possibly in another engagement, which is making her unable to speak to us. But we're trying very hard to get her on the line. But I must correct your impression, Mr. Agana, that Mr. Jantua is a lawyer and an energy expert. He has nothing to do with the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. So Mr. Jantua, I mean, the key issue Mr. Agana really is talking about is there is a lot more going on, and organized labor can only do just as little as those who have the mandate to ensure that we have good services, and those who have the mandate to also ensure that we pay correct rates for these services are not up to it.
The TUC have a mandate to labor. They have a mandate and responsibility to labor. So anything that affects labor, they can talk about it. I don't see why they should narrow their focus. They are responsible for labor and to labor. So if it's affecting their people, they look at the things that affect their people. So if it is generation, the institutions aren't doing right, they should talk about it. Let us hear their voice so that people will use them as the front to move these things. But
what you are saying is not right, though. TUC don't have that power to go to Greco and go and command the management, the engineers, that they should do this. That is what you are saying. That is not part of this thing. But you go through the labor and see how TUC operates, and for that one,
right, gentlemen, Mr. Wilson Agana, I'll take your final words because I'm trying to still get the PURC and still get TUC to respond. So, Mr. Agana, we are very grateful. Now, I need you to tell me, in principle, that if the demand of TUC is not met, that is, asking government and PURC to reverse these charges, if that does not happen, what are you going to do?
Let me tell you, what seriously is going to happen in this country because of the way they went about this increase. We will never sit down. This time we are going to we have a problem with the TUC. We have a problem with the crude oil and all those things. And now they are with this tariff in. We are going to move seriously. So it's better they sit down and think properly because you're supposed to educate members, tell us for us to know whatever is happening. That's better because the power. Then you increase. That thing will never take it. And we are going to fight it. This time.
Right. Thank you very much, Wilson Agana. He says that organized labor is going to fight this. So we're still going to get onto the line and get a TUC boss, Kofi Asamoah, and hope that we can get PURC's Nanaya Jantua to wrap up with us. So, Mr. Jantua, if you are there, I mean, the argument became a bit heated. The key principles here is that we expect to get consistent energy supply and water. If we are paying for it, we have to get it. But we are not getting consistent power. Why then are we paying more?
You see, these things didn't start today. The maintenance of these equipment didn't start today. We've all kept quiet about it. And now it's coming to hit us. And we are running and we are jumping and we are shouting. From this point on, I believe that the people should be able to take ECG to court. The people should be able to take the distribution companies to court because they are not giving us what we are supposed to be paying for. Water today is a major problem in this country. And I do agree with PURC not to increase the water tariff because the water people haven't done what they are supposed to do. You cannot get pipe-borne water 24 hours in Ghana today. Why? Why is it so? Is it that the machinery is a cake? And if it's a cake, what are they doing to make sure that we bring it up to speed? That is why I believe that everything should be brought out so that people understand. The covertness of these institutions is just too much. It should be open for everybody to realize, look, there are certain things in this country we cannot play with. Health, education, water, housing, energy, agriculture. We cannot play with these things, and we cannot politicize these things because it directly affects the people. Directly affects people. And we should make sure that if we've given people responsibility to man these institutions, if they are not manning them, sack them and get the right people to man them. Why are we afraid of sacking people if they are not standing up to what they're supposed to do? We shouldn't be afraid to do that. Because it's the people who suffer. Right now, you and me are suffering. Everybody is suffering. Because the wages that we are getting, the salaries that we are getting, do not amount to the kinds of output that we are, in terms of payments of bills that we are doing.
Now, if TUC goes ahead with its threat, I mean, the TUC is warning that if these reversals are not done, they will unleash their wrath of over 500,000 of its members. I don't know whether they're going to go on a protest, but if this happens, it means that we have 500,000 workforce who are saying we have had enough. So TUC's position actually makes some sense, don't you think?
And it brings the economy and the country to a halt. It brings the economy to... You see, what I believe the TUC should do, if they really oppose this, is to sit down with PURC, is to sit down with the utilities and try and work something out. Going on strike and on the road doesn't help. It doesn't help. It brings our economy to a standstill. Do you know how much productivity we lose for one strike? This is a question of negotiation. Sit down with PURC. Sit down with the utilities, sit down with government around the table and all stakeholders and map out and get a tariff that people can pay. Have they even started doing that? If they do that and they don't get any result, then perhaps, yes, they can go and strike. But I don't believe that just get up and say they are going on strike without exploring the possibility of negotiation.
Right. Mr. Jantua, we're grateful for your time on today's big story. Kwame Jantua is an energy expert and is also a lawyer. Let's wrap up with Solomon Kote, who is ICU General Secretary. Mr. Kote, I'm not expecting you to have a different view from what TUC has, right?
Hello?
Yeah. Mr. Kote, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm saying that the TUC has threatened that if government and the PURC does not reverse the tariffs, it will unleash its wrath. I'm not sure what that means, but do you share the same position?
Well, ICU for now will say organized labor have not met on the issue.
Okay.
But ICU view on the issue is that we think the PURC came with an explanation that what they are charging by these increases is only to enable them continue to provide the service they are providing. Let's not admit without, let's not assume without admitting that this statement is anything to go by. The next question is, if they are not able to provide all these checklist services for now, and they should break down totally, what then happens? Our worry is our employers are really having major problems in absorbing additional overhead.
That's right. Okay? That's right.
From all angles. And it is also such that workers' salaries cannot also be adjusted by these things.
So, Mr. Kote, I'm sorry that we don't have a lot of time, but let me get you right. What you're saying is that although you feel that TUC has a case, you don't exactly support them fully yet because you feel that a lot of explanations have to be done by PURC before ICU, for example, can jump on board fully and say that we support TUC's position?
No, you see, get the arguments right. We have organized labor, I don't have the GTUC.
Okay.
GTUC has spoken their mind. I'm talking for ICU.
Right.
Okay? If organized labor should meet, then we should have a consensus. What organized labor will do is what every union, national union will comply. So at this moment, if you are sourcing views of national unions, this is what ICU is saying.
Right, Mr. Solomon Kote, we're grateful for your time on today's big story. We've been trying very hard to get the PURC Public Affairs Director, Nanaya Jantua, to speak to us, but we couldn't get her on phone. And TUC boss, Kofi Asamoah, who earlier agreed to speak to us, we couldn't also raise him online. But we're grateful to Mr. Kwame Jantua, who was able to join us, and Wilson Agana and Solomon Kote, and to you for making time to watch us on today's big story. We'll be right back.